they walked into a house with a woman who I think owned over a dozen cats. And when they entered the house, the stench was so strong that the researchers really struggled to handle the interview. And when they got into the guide, they were asking the consumer, like, what do you do to help with the smell of the cats in the house? To which the consumer replied, what are you talking about? Like, what smell? Yeah, it's really the setting. So when you do qualitative focus groups or you bring someone into a facility, it is a bit of an artificial setting, whether they're being watched in a one-way mirror or being recorded. If you're taste testing a product or trying out a new concept, it is a bit of an unnatural environment, right? So anytime you have the opportunity to have that consumer test that product in the home, if they're cooking something, they might use certain spices or a certain process that they aren't able to replicate in a facility. So it really comes down to that. A natural setting, a natural environment is really a crucial benefit to IHUTs. I mean, the other thing you have to worry about too with artificial settings is like moderator and group bias. So if it's a focus group, sometimes there can be a group think that can influence people's decisions or behaviors. Doing it in the in-home environment too helps, right? So we did a project on vacuum IHUTs, right? Where if you brought people into a facility and had them try out a new vacuum, in the facility room, it would be a much different experience than if they were using it at home, if they have pets with pet hair or something like that, where they could really truly test the product in their environment and understand how it compares to what they're currently using. Just the convenience of IHUTs, of having products shipped to your house versus trying to recruit someone to drive to a facility, right? When you think about cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York City, it can often be an hour plus commute to come to a facility, right? So where that hurts clients is we need to pay higher incentives and higher honorariums to have them attend. Things undoubtedly always come up, so you have to over-recruit to have people come in person. So there definitely is just a convenience aspect too of being able to ship a product to a household and they can just roll it into kind of their natural day or natural week versus having to travel somewhere in person. So I think IHUTs, where the industry is going, it's always going to have a home. And the reason for that is a lot of people can immediately jump to AI platforms and tools to find some quick statistics around consumer behavior, like how much coffee people drink, how often they're drinking coffee, profiles of users of different products. There's a ton of information online. But when it comes to testing new products or new food or a new beverage, it's really important to get that critical feedback. It's something that AI really can't replicate when you're asking about like taste, texture, how does the product feel, how would you be using this? If it's a brand new product, AI would really struggle to kind of replicate that human experience that you would get through an IHUT. Febreze originally launched their brand, and I think it was unscented originally, and it was a total flop, wasn't selling on the shelves. They didn't really understand why. So the research team at Febreze actually visited and recruited households and went into households to understand, like, why don't you buy this product? Why aren't you using it? And they walked into a house with a woman who I think owned over a dozen cats. And when they entered the house, the stench was so strong that the researchers really struggled to handle the interview. And when they got into the guide, they were asking the consumer, like, what do you do to help with the smell of the cats in the house? To which the consumer replied, what are you talking about? Like, what smell? So they ended up rehauling kind of their formula and adding different scents to it, which helped that brand really take off. So without that context of like being in home, they would have kind of been flying blind or making assumptions on other things, maybe incorrectly. So.